Probably more than in any other period in history, during the 20th century our towns, villages and the way in which we live have undergone considerable change. Fortunately, in the case of the Isle of Wight, much of the area's social history was recorded on film by skillful enthusiasts for us to enjoy decades later. Perhaps you remember the old side-loading car ferries, or watching the colourful carnival parade through Ryde. Or did you take part in Cows Week during the 1930s, the annual yachting event for which the island is known throughout the world? Or one of the island's car rallies in the 50s? Or maybe you quite simply have fond memories of family holidays by the sea, ice cream on the beach, walks on the pier and trips by coach. Whether you know the island as a local or visitor, you'll doubtless be familiar with its many attractions. So enjoy now a glimpse at the Isle of Wight in the past. We begin our delve into the archive with this rare colour film taken of the island during the 1950s. It's the work of the Isle of Wight Cine Club, a group of enthusiasts who still make films about their local area today. Tourism has always been important to the island, and this film was produced in conjunction with the local council to help whet the appetites of those on the mainland, 4 million of whom used the ferries in 1952 alone, bringing with them 53,000 cars. At a glance, the Isle of Wight might appear much the same as it did at the turn of the century, but in fact it's changed shape over the years, with parts, in some cases even complete roads, literally disappearing into the sea. Despite talk of a permanent road bridge in recent years, it is perhaps the fact that it can only be reached by sea that gives the island a unique and special atmosphere. Yarmouth is one of the oldest towns on the island, dating back to at least the 10th century. It's still one of the principal ports for traffic to and from the mainland, steamships having been in service between here and Lymington since 1830. Those familiar with the town will know it boasts a pier. This was constructed at a cost of £4,000 and was opened in 1876. The loan took 50 years to pay off. In addition to its long-established association with sailing, the sheltered natural harbour at Cowes has long been another major link with the mainland. The Red Funnel car ferries once ran between West Cowes and Southampton. Over the years, numerous vessels were operated, including the side-loading Vector, which was built in 1938 and continued in service until 1965. offering at that time the largest car deck in the fleet, and the Balmoral too. Although a fast service runs on the same route, the Red Funnel car ferry now operates from nearby East Cowes. It was also possible to take steam trips from here to other parts of the island and along the south coast. Much as today, in the 50s, Cowes' principal tourist attraction was Osborne House, the country home of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. And for those bringing their vehicles to the Isle of Wight via Portsmouth, the port of call was Fishbourne, a few miles west of Ryde. Ryde itself received a passenger service from Portsmouth as early as 1826. As the main gateway to the island, it had a rail link extending the length of the historic pier. During the latter part of the 19th century, following in royal footsteps, this area became established as a very popular resort. Union Street, the main road from the Esplanade, has a commanding view and a satisfying glimpse of a luxury liner such as the Queen Elizabeth could often be had. The beautifully maintained Western Gardens near the seafront and the often crowded beach became hallmarks of this popular resort. As too did the Esplanade. Do you remember the tour buses, each with its list of excursions displayed on a board? Ah, those were the days. Although no longer a venue for live shows, the pavilion still remains. It now forms part of a 10-pin bowling complex. And another of the town's popular features, the Canoe Lake, albeit now slightly smaller to provide space for a swimming pool, has also withstood the tests of time. Whilst the supervised waters of the lake were relatively safe, Spithead and the Channel were an altogether different matter. On a very busy stretch of coast, the crew of the Jessie Lum, the Bembridge lifeboat, were always on call.